All right.
Yeah, we on.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, as always, want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakha, Kodash.
Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to you brothers that push His word and truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. For the brothers with Great Millstone Northwest, back with another lesson. And we want to get into an article we came across dealing with Israel, the land of Israel. All right, and despite everything going on in the news pertaining to the jab and the vaccine and Crown Royal, all right, another major part of prophecy is World War III. Somebody grab that in Revelation. The Second War was passed. All right, so that World War III is something that's not to, we can't take our eyes off that. All right. So there's an article we're going to read and get into dealing with the imposters over there in the land of Israel, and how you can see that they're trying to pretty much they're trying to provoke war.
That shit just blew up out of nowhere, man.
They got as high for those,
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it's okay.
Okay. You can read that in Revelation.
This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. It says, "The second war is past, and behold, the third war coming quickly."
Right. That second war is World War III, and the third war that's coming quickly is World War III.
World War II.
I mean,
Second World War II.
yeah, it's like I'm fixated on World War III. The second war that passed is World War II, and World War III is the third war.
and it comes quickly.
That's coming quickly. You know what I'm saying? Because it's right around the corner. World War II was what 1935.
Yep.
1939 and
19,
1940.
yeah, about 1940s or something.
Yeah.
1945, yep.
In the 40s, the First World War was in the teens.
No,
teens.
1914 to
1939 to 1945.
Yep, in the teens. So, yep, and then the Second World War was in the 40s.
30 years later.
Yeah. So this one, it may seem like it got the longest gap in time, but this one also is going to be the most devastating. It's going to be the most world-changing war, even more so than what World War II was. Because World War II, even World War I, those had big impacts on the entire world. But it's got nothing. Both of those combined got nothing compared to what the Most High got in store for what's to come.
76 years ago was World War II. From 1939 to 1945, so the third war being World War III, we're already in the stages of World War III, but it just ain't catapulted to where the average, to where it's in the household, people's talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Where people know that it's war on the brink. All people see right now is just tension, because they're not watching. It's been tension since the fucking Cold War.
Yeah.
Really, World War III started at the Cold War. That's when it actually really started gearing itself into being what it's supposed to be.
Yep.
World War III.
When the formation of these countries coming together with the Ally, when NATO got formed, when all that type of stuff got formed to be where it's the Western civilization versus Russia and Russia's allies. That's really when it all started.
Yep. Article.
Let me read this real quick.
I gotta say something real quick. I was just telling the brother, I'm a little excited because I get excited about just the topic of World War III, because with World War III comes our deliverance, all right, just as a nation. Now ultimately we pray we're part of the elect, all right, us are the hopeful elect, but with World War III comes the destruction of our enemies and the deliverance of the Lord's elect, man. So that's a heavy day. That's gonna be a beautiful day, and the whole world's gonna witness that.
Yeah, it's prophecy, man. Yeah, we're supposed to get excited about that.
Yeah, somebody ordered Joel, Dead or Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Read that and then go ahead to.
I think it's Amos.
I mean,
Amos chapter 3. I think.
No, that's he revealed his secrets into his servants, the prophets. 3:7.
No,
I mean, we probably just thinking.
Yeah. I think it is.
No, Joel 2.
Yeah, precept.
Darkness and luminous.
Yeah, so like.
It's all good.
It's Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet."
Right. So we're gonna hear wars and rumors of wars. But you know, these things is supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? Just like, hey, those rumors of war, it actually drive nations to actually engaging in war. You know what I'm saying? Just like you could have been in school and it's a rumor of, oh man, he said he can beat you up or something. You know what I'm saying? And then be like, what? And it's just fucking rumors or whatever. And then it'll lead to an actual fight happening. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much what's gonna happen globally. You know what I'm saying?
Now you gotta meet behind the gym at 3 o'clock.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Somebody gonna get that. Who's that? Got his eyes black. Mitt Romney. Gonna get that Romney treatment, man.
Oh shit. That's so funny. Oh, you want this Joel right now?
Let's just brother read that article.
All right. This is from RT.com. The head title reads, Israel accuses Iran of environmental terrorism over oil spill off its coast. Warns culprits must pay price. It reads, the Israeli government has said Iran is behind a recent oil spill off Israel's coast, which caused huge ecological damage and has been described as one of the worst such pollution incidents in Israel's history. It says,
so hey, that's monumental. Like for that to be one of the worst environmental pollution incidents in the history of, you know, them gutter rats being there, which they've only been there since pretty much the same 74 or 73 years, 1948, because World War II ended in 45, they got there in 1948. So, you know, they ain't been there that long, but for the couple of decades they've been there, for that to be one of the worst environmental disasters that they suffered, you know, to let you know that they, you know, they desperate for retaliation.
yeah,
Don't be surprised if it's the Israelis that's behind that and using that as another incident, just like Pearl Harbor. You know how Pearl Harbor they try to say, you know, pretty much America bombed its own shit and use that and blame it on somebody else.
well, they didn't bomb their own shit, but they knew that bombing was coming and let it come.
Yeah.
So they can retaliate with it.
Yeah.
They allowed that shit to happen.
Yeah.
And they knew it was coming.
Yeah. There's another incident I was thinking of where the U.S. They bombed something and they blamed it on another country, and they knew it, and they used it as a means to pretty much, you know how the U.S. get down. So
Yeah.
Are you talking about the?
It had to do with a cargo ship.
Lusitania. It was like a cruise ship in World War II that got bombed, that sunk, and it was like the avenue to go into World War II.
I think so. There's one more recent than that too. I can't remember.
Hey, but they're not slick, bro. Their devices, they don't switch them up.
Nah.
They don't switch up their devices, man. Esau, Edom.
As the scripture say, there's no new thing under the sun.
Yeah, there's no new thing under the sun. Esau, Edom, they don't change nothing up. Why would they? If it ain't broke, why fix it? And nobody knows. Nobody's saying nothing. And if they do say something, what can they do to us? That's their whole mindset, man.
And it's SS Athenia. And it's funny because this was put up 3 days ago. It says the British passenger ship sunk at the outbreak of World War II, and that was their avenue to get into to bring the U.S. the British, because the British made a pact with the Israelis to bring the Americans into World War II, and that was because before that America was all for Germany, and then this whole little sinking happened with the SS Athenia, and that brought America into World War II against Germany, and it was pretty much a false flag, you know, what the brother was saying. It was pretty much a false flag. So that's how Esau gets down. You know, they put out false flags to further their agenda, you know.
Yep. Go ahead, bro.
It says Israel's environment protection minister Gilad Gagliel, that's how you pronounce it, Salaki, brothers.
Gamaliel. Just like the scripture.
It ain't spelled like the scripture, shoot. But I'm gonna say Gamaliel for the sake of the scriptures. Gilad Gamaliel said on Wednesday the Israeli officials have identified a Libyan-owned oil tanker called Emerald and allegedly carrying private cargo, which had sailed from Iran out of the Persian Gulf and up to the Suez Canal last month.
So notice, you know, in the article it mentions that it's a Libyan-owned oil tanker carrying
Private cargo.
Pirated cargo.
I thought it said private.
Meaning
stolen.
This is stolen shit, which sailed from Iran out of the Persian Gulf up to the Suez Canal last month.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying this cargo is owned by.
It was contraband.
Yeah,
that's what they're trying.
They're trying
to say it's contraband.
And it's coming from Israel, from
Iran.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
Reading on, it says, speaking at a news briefing, the minister said that the Panama flag vessel had turned off its radios for nearly 24 hours and have polluted the sea between February 1st and 2nd. Iran is read down.
No, that's good right there.
Oh, read that too?
Yeah.
All right. It says Iran is conducting terrorism by damaging the environment, and when Iran is damaging the environment, it isn't just hurting the state of Israel, she said.
So here it is. Even though that cargo, the vessel was coming from Iran, according to what they claim, it's owned by some Libyans. Mm-hmm. And they're pointing the finger at Iran, saying that you're the ones that's polluting. When you know what I'm saying, it's not even Iranian owned. Just because if you leave somebody's house and go do a drive-by, the person's house you just left, they're not responsible for you going to go do a damn drive-by.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what they're trying to do. Like, they might have left Iran, according to what they say, and polluted the ocean. So you're just gonna point the finger at Iran and not the people that own the vessel, which is some Libyans?
Hey, come on, bro. They're not. What's the word? When you do a crime with somebody else.
Associates or
no, it's a word for it. I just had it before I even said something.
You ain't talking about collusion, maybe?
No, not collusion.
Co-conspirators.
It's not that word. It's just a word for it.
Complicit.
It's accessories to a crime.
There's a word for it, but that's what they're trying to say that Iran is, because that Libyan vessel left Iran.
Culprits.
No, it's called co-defendants.
Co-defendant.
They're calling them co-defendant.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make Iran a co-defendant because the oil left Iran in the Libyan vessel.
Yeah.
Like, just to your same point.
Yeah.
So if I leave this house and I get pulled over there on the street with an ounce of cocaine, are they gonna come back to this house and say that you guys was in possession of this cocaine because I came from this house? You fuck out of here. They ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
So how are they doing that shit?
To the Iranians.
Because it's that maritime law,
Mm-hmm.
which they can do whatever the fuck they want with that shit. They make up their own laws and shit, man.
Yeah. Yep.
But reading on in the article, it says Gamaliel also warned that those responsible for the ship's journey must pay the price. Those responsible for the ship's journey, okay, and that the operator of the ship has black blood on their hands. The minister said there was circumstantial evidence to support the claims, and that despite a lack of forensic evidence, all other sources for the spill have been ruled out.
Yeah, so they got a lack of there was it said the minister said there was circumstantial evidence to support the claim that despite the lack of forensic evidence, so we got circumstantial evidence that supports the claim that even though we have a lack of forensic evidence,
Which is actual
fingerprints, like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Who did this?
Yeah,
Who left the breadcrumbs?
yeah.
Forensic evidence is evidence that will tie it to a specific person or entity.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
It will tie them directly because it's forensic. It's their footprint is there. It's proven that their footprint was a part of this.
Like who was that with the put the ashes on the floor?
Daniel dealing with the king. That's in the story of Bell and the Dragon.
Yeah.
That's
Forensic evidence.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So they ain't got none of this, but they're saying due to the circumstances, due to we want you to be guilty, Iran. That's the circumstances. So you did this. That's what that's pretty much what they're getting at, man. You know, it says despite the lack of forensic evidence, all other sources for the spill have been ruled out. Nobody else could have did this but you, Iran. You know.
Hey, but Israel got a bias against Iran. They're trying to they're looking for any little thing that they can to point towards Iran to be like, yeah, Iran, you're guilty of this. Now we can take action against you because of whatever, without having concrete evidence or not. They're playing that kid that wants revenge. In school, oh, somebody hit me with a spitball. It's you, Johnny, because you're mad that Susie likes me instead of you, type of shit. That they're playing that same childhood school game.
Let me read this, Baba Bashar. This is the definition, Esau's definition of circumstantial evidence. It says circumstantial evidence is evidence that relies on an inference to connect it to a conclusion of a fact. That's weird. An inference to connect it to a conclusion of a fact. So an incident happens and they're going to connect it to this because they know something about how that operates. Just because you know how this operates, don't mean you can connect this to him and him. The fuck are you talking about? That's weird.
Yeah, read that again.
It says circumstantial evidence is evidence that relies on an inference to connect it to a conclusion of a fact.
Yeah, inference. It says a conclusion reached on the basis of evidence and reasoning.
But this is double speak, bro.
Oh, you know what? So like, I don't need to cut you off.
No, go ahead, bro.
Inference. What came to mind was that documentary we watched about the little girl that came up missing.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how the Portuguese police was pretty much trying to make the parents responsible for her abduction.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, inference, a conclusion reached on the basis of evidence and reasoning. So their evidence and reasoning.
An educated guess on what they think happened and not based off of what the evidence, forensic evidence will prove.
Yeah, they were trying to blame the parents for her abduction, when really it wasn't even the parents that did it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what the Israelis is doing. They're trying to place blame on
Israel. Oh yeah, Israel. He said it's like.
Yeah, they're trying to place the blame on the Iranians, but you don't have
Evidence.
You don't have forensic
evidence.
Bro, let me keep reading on this, bro. This shit it gets juicy, bro. I'm gonna start from the top again. Salaki. It says circumstantial evidence is evidence that relies on an inference to connect it to a conclusion of a fact, such as a fingerprint at the scene of a crime. But by contrast, direct evidence supports the truth of an assertion directly, i.e., without need for any additional evidence or inference. So, forensic evidence is a fingerprint, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying that forensic evidence doesn't. It's saying that it bases it off of a conclusion of a fact, but if you have a fingerprint, that's not a conclusion. That's actual fingerprint. That's fact.
Mm-hmm.
That person was there. So how are you saying circumstantial evidence is a fingerprint? Because a fingerprint is forensic evidence. They're trying to tie both of them together without putting them together. How can you do that?
Can you read that one more time, bro?
I'll read it again, bro. This is weird. I'm trying to wrap my head around this shit.
It comes a little.
He saw a
confusing.
million
It comes
big
a little
words.
confusing.
It's double speak, bro.
Because the way he words it comes a little bit confusing. So that's the reason why I'm asking you to.
Come on. I got you, bro. I got you. Because I have to wrap my head around this.
And what was that? What was that definition?
It's called circumstantial evidence. So it says circumstantial evidence. They're going to read it to you.
Oh, no, you do it.
Okay, it says circumstantial evidence is evidence that relies on an inference to connect it to a conclusion of a fact. So they're connecting whatever it is to a conclusion that they have from a fact.
They're connecting the inference to
The circumstantial evidence to the conclusion of a fact.
Okay.
Such as a fingerprint at the scene of a crime.
Mm-hmm.
So if they find So if they find a fingerprint, that fingerprint belongs to this person. That person committed the murder because his fingerprint was at the crime.
So just as much as they find your fingerprint in this car, that's a stolen car. So
you
then
stole the car
they
because your fingerprint was there.
They can point it to you being the one that stole the car, even though you're not there no more.
Yeah.
Your fingerprints in this car. This car was reported stolen. They did whatever they did. They found your fingerprint there. So now they're bringing you in as a suspect because your fingerprint was found in this car. Now your fingerprint could be in the car because you rode in the car with the car's owner.
Yeah.
That could be the reason.
Yeah.
But they're pointing to you at this moment because this car was stolen and they found your fingerprint as, they found the owner's fingerprint, but they found your fingerprint also. So you might be the one that stole the car. That's what they're pointing towards.
Yeah.
Can you continue with that definition?
Come on.
Sure.
So they bring you in for questioning.
For questioning, right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now you're a suspect because they found your fingerprint in the car.
They show you.
Like the boy that was,
Guido. They called him
in that
Guido.
documentary. Yeah.
Guido.
yeah.
They live on Guido
A named suspect. A named
over in
suspect.
Portugal. If
Yep.
if you became a suspect, they label you a Guido.
Yeah.
So due to the circumstances, we're not saying you did it, but your fingerprints is here. So circumstantial evidence, we got to bring you in.
Yep.
They show you that in that movie, Enemy of the State. They show you in the Batman movies too and shit. But
They show you everything they fucking do, bro.
But
Every law movie ever.
I'm pinpointing Enemy of the State because the dude that actually had the evidence, he put it in Will Smith's bag, and because Will Smith had the evidence that they wanted, they chased down Will Smith and he became the enemy of the state.
Yep.
So pretty much that's that same thing.
Yep.
They'll
Which is not, it's not true, man. It's circumstantial, man. It's like, okay, during what circumstance was this man here? You don't know, but you put him there in the circumstance that you got in your head. Like, okay, he must have killed him. His fingerprints is there. Yeah, he looks like a nigga. Yeah, that's the person right there.
I'll do you one better. Say, example for the rape doctrine.
Mm.
All right, you got other groups that have a problem with the fact that of what the scriptures say about taking a woman up, you know, and they label us what they label us just due to the fact that we preach the scriptures in fullness and truth. Like if somebody asks us about it, we're gonna tell them what the scriptures say. With that, they oh see GMS is rapist, GMS is rapist when we haven't did any of that fact. We haven't did any of those actions or nothing like that. But they'll still label us like that due to the fact that that's what we preach. You see what I'm saying? So it's circumstantial due to the fact that we preach the scriptures in truth. You know, just the same as they can say, phobic. We're such and such phobic, and I'm being kind of PC just so this video doesn't get flagged and blah blah.
God.
You know, we're such and such phobic just because we preach the scriptures on what the scriptures say.
Alphabet phobic.
We're alphabet phobic. That's the water. We're alphabet phobic just because we preach this. Yeah, but somebody can claim that we're that, but only thing we're doing, that's the forensics of it is yes, we preach the scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
We preach the truth of the scriptures, and we're not going to sugarcoat that.
Nope. Nope.
We're going. If somebody asks us about it, we're going to give them what the scriptures say about it. And then they label us this thing. Yeah. So that's the best way I can put it to make it relatable.
Kind. Hey, well now that we have
sense.
an understanding on what circumstantial evidence is, I'll let you say what you guys say, brother, and then we'll get back to the
No,
article.
I was gonna read a quick scripture.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah,
Bring that out.
This is Psalm 64:5. It says, "They encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily. They say who see them."
Ooh, that was spot on.
And this really talking about them coming up against the elect men of Yahweh Shemal Shai, but they're even doing this to these heathens as well. And these heathens are starting to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when I say they, I'm talking about Esau. Okay, start with the top banking families. And these heathens, they starting to see how Esau gets down. And now they're like, well, y'all doing this to us, and we was on your side, woo-de-woo, and you're turning and saying we the enemy. This is all going to lead to what the brother started off talking about, World War III, where these nations are going to shoot off missiles on Esau's establishments, mainly America.
Yeah.
But it's a lot.
That goes into Obadiah. Those that were Confederate have laid a wound under thee.
Yep.
Which is all prophecy as well, man. But
so like I was gonna say, that's why a lot of these nations is not giving a shit about Esau's embargoes, because that was Esau's leverage for so long. Is you don't want to do what we're not even gonna give you the option to not do what we want you to do. Before it gets to that, we're gonna slap you with embargoes to have you begging for our forgiveness, so to say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Embargoes and sanctions and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah. And these nations now is like, man, you don't give a fuck.
because they can go around it.
Yeah.
There's just other people that's doing the
Because
same
Russia-
thing
because-
America's doing now.
The powerhouse is Russia and China. The powerhouse has switched from from America to China and Russia. Russia militarily wise and China economically.
Yep.
You know? So they're like, fuck. And most of the countries that America put these embargoes on is either in Central South America or over on the Eastern Hemisphere.
Eastern, the Middle East.
Yeah, Middle East or European
Africa,
nations. And they're right over there in Russia's backyard or that same region. So they're like, man, fuck America,
Oh, Prashad, can I read this last?
You got it, bro.
This is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 1. It says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And say, and Meshach and Tubal, Magog, Gog is talking about Russia, okay, what the brothers just said, And say, thus said the Lord, Yahweh Shemal Shai, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor."
Yeah, so the Most High is going to have Russia resort back to that old USSR, that old communist Russia,
That military might.
Yeah, just a powerhouse of remember Space Jam, the monsters when they was just dominating all.
Dunking in.
Lil Nicky.
Yeah. You know
Demons.
what I'm saying?
It was looking from half court. and shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's what Russia gonna resort back to. That just powerhouse of, not to be fucked with.
Yeah.
You know.
And they were like that during World War II as well, because the story that America pushes out is that they won World War II, but really it was Russia. It was Russia.
The Cold War.
No, World War II.
Okay.
When you go back into the history, World War II was really fought and won by Russia, but Esau and America, they came in as the knights on shining armor to save the day. After everything was all over and done with. Yeah, it was pretty much Russia.
If I can say on that note, America will paint it to us here in America that they won the Cold War when that's not the case as well.
Mm-hmm.
As far as that technology war is what the Cold War was,
Yeah.
Arms building.
Arms war.
Arms
Yeah.
race.
Yeah.
That's right. It says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia," which is Iran, "Ethiopia, and Libya with them."
Where'd that shit come out of?
Yeah.
Really?
Libyan on.
With a Panamanian, did it say Panamanian flag?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No. It said
Panamanian flag.
Did it say Panamanian? It said Panamanian flag?
Yeah, it said Panamanian flag vessel.
It says all, and you have a lot of them Latin American countries that's allied with Russia right now. Like Cuba. Just go back to the Bay of Pigs. Cuba was allied with Russia. It says all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer,
Third paragraph.
which is Turkey, and Turkey they in between right now.
Yeah,
they playing
Panama
both
flag,
sides.
Hey, Turkey and right now Turkey and France is pretty much trying to come to some kind of peace because France has been criticizing Islam and their religion and whatnot, and that shit got Erdogan kind of hot. So they're in some kind of peace talks right now. So just throwing that out there.
It says, I'm sorry, if I could say real quick. Earlier I had RT playing, Spirit just said put RT on, and Crosstalk was on, and they were talking about how Europe and Russia are kind of, they're not beefing, but Europe is pretty much